Welcome. I'm Roberto Battista, one of the councillors in Sellano, and I'm talking to you from Postignano, one of the 48 villages that are part of our municipality, which spreads over a territory of 85 square kilometers, immersed in a pristine environment of great biodiversity. I've chosen Postignano as a starting point because it represents an example of how beautiful our villages are once restored and brought back to life. This is a rather unique example, the result of the impeccably executed restoration work carried out by a group of architects and resulting in what you can see while we walk around. Imagine that all these was originally built by local craftsmen, farmers and shepherds, with no architects or engineers involved. It's a totally spontaneous kind of architecture designed around the day-to-day needs of the inhabitants and using locally sourced materials. But then, in the 1960s, there was a massive immigration flow from this area, mostly to other countries, which left many of the villages largely abandoned, and today some count only a couple of permanent residents. We are now trying to encourage repopulation, considering that the area is rich in natural, historical, architectural and artistic resources, all elements that could offer great opportunities to enterprising people with new ideas suitable to the present day. Given the presence of several castles and monasteries, a local painting school developed, with many works of art from the Middle Ages to the Renaissance still in existence. This is the kind of surprises one can have when restoring properties around here, under layers of paint and plaster, and ancient fresco resurfaces in all its beauty. When I arrived in Italy 6 years ago and discovered this place, I thought it represented an ideal compromise, offering an excellent quality of life and a range of considerable advantages, well, including delicious food everywhere. Sellano and most of our villages could become like these in the right hands. I really like this staircase. There's no logic to it. It reminds me of an Escher drawing, and yet it really works. Now Postignano has a hotel based on individually crafted apartments, an excellent restaurant, a cafe and a wine bar, an antique shop and several private homes. It hosts art exhibitions, conferences and concerts of international relevance. Let's now take off for a bird's eye view of the surrounding landscape of Sellano and some of the other villages. From the Middle Ages through the Renaissance and up to the 18th century, this area was densely populated and a crossroads through which pilgrims, invading armies, traveling merchants, bandits, Syrian monks, and all sorts of traders would pass, each leaving traces that shaped local culture. For instance, the art of metallurgy was introduced by exiled monks from the Middle East, and the production of metal tools became a local craft that lasted centuries. These lands were part of the papal state for a long time, and yet in one of the villages there was a bank run by a Jewish family by special concession of the Pope. There also was a dense network of roads which were gradually restoring to make them available for trekking, biking and horse riding, possibly the best way to enjoy this landscape. The lack of opportunities that made so many people leave in the past has a positive side to it though. Intensive agriculture or industry never developed, so today we are blessed with a healthy and beautiful environment, unspoiled landscapes and total quiet. But at the same time, in a couple of hours we can reach Rome and in 45 minutes the international airport of Perugia, while Spoleto and Foligno are less than half an hour away. Over the centuries, the local communities were almost completely self-sufficient. The diversity of the environment, its climate and abundant water made it possible to grow a great variety of crops. The local wood and stones provided the building materials. Sheep, the milk for the famous pecorino cheese, and the wool that, combined with the locally grown hemp, made for a good textile tradition. Wildlife, like boar and deer, contributed to the variety of the local cuisine. And don't forget the truffle, mushrooms and wild edible herbs this area is famous for. We even have 16 varieties of wild orchids and still grow saffron, lentils and many other delicacies. Sellano has sports facilities, a conference centre, a small theatre, a hostel, a library and rich historical archives. In Montesanto, another beautiful village, there's a research centre with co-working facilities. In Casorampi, there is a museum of vernacular culture, all within easy reach of each other. We just finished installing fibre optics broadband, reaching 70% of the territory, not to mention the wealth of unused estate awaiting restoration. In fact, what we're missing is people. There will be much more to say and show, but if this little teaser woke your curiosity, why not get in touch for more information and maybe come for a visit?